Hey everybody, I think I'm live. I rebuilt the rebuilt the show. I don't know whatever was stopping it from going live. Hopefully I got it fixed. Welcome everybody. Welcome channel members. Welcome Goose, David, Debbie, Don, Tara. Welcome everybody. So this Santa rally thing, right? We're gonna get it, and then of course Tesla closed at an all-time high today. Booyah! Wonder who said that was going to happen. Golly. Seems like we've only been waiting all year for that catch-up trade. And here we are. Here we are. Making all-time highs. And, of course, after we kind of talk a few things, we'll cover 30 minutes of your request at least. Probably an hour. And then we'll do a Ask Me Anything for channel members. Once we pass 6 o'clock, which we always seem to do. So, there you go. It's motivation to be a channel member. If you want to get into the Ask Me Anything, I'll do as many channel requests or many ticker requests as I possibly can. But come 6 o'clock, we'll switch over to the rest of the requests and all the things. So, yeah, Profit Island, Profit Land. Did you make it into profit today? Today was a big rally. Tesla carrying most of the Mag 7 to a green close. Google was the only laggard, as far as I know. So there we go. There we go. And it was a pretty good day. I did the beer money trade to the tune of $550 on 8 contracts, which is running pretty rich. Pretty rich indeed. 2 contracts I got like 80 cents a contract on. I was like, wow, that is the fattest premium I've been able to take in. And I was still like almost 300 points down at the moment when I did it. Well, that's pretty sweet, if you ask me. Anyway, without further ado, let's pitter patter, let's get at her. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. If you need somebody to tell you what to do, there's people you can hire and consult for all of that. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial anything. I'm not a registered advisor of any sort. I don't trade for people. Can't do any of that stuff. I just sometimes get lucky, trade my own money. And, sometimes happens to me pretty much every day. Checking it out right here. Year to date. I started this, I kind of refunded this account, started this challenge here back in April, right around tax day. And it's been going pretty good. It's interesting, it's not showing the dates. I guess that's a new feature they got going on here. It was showing the date before. So you can see I had a little dip here. Once this passes, once we get back, once we get to next Friday, this little dip's going to go out, drop off here, and my numbers should improve pretty drastically for the last 3 months. Pretty drastically. Look at the year to date, though. I started right around tax day. You can see April 14th right there, April 15th. I funded it that and then started trying to book profit immediately. Small, consistent gains. This little jump was Rocket Lab. Caught a nice share appreciation. Keep grinding higher. After that, I kind of eased back after catching that big up on Rocket Lab. Eased back. Then I was like, came into September here. I was like, what the heck am I doing? I'm slowing down. So I kicked it up a notch, pushing up into the end of the year here. Only got 10 trading days left this year. 10. That's it. It's crazy, right? Here we are on the 16th. You're like, well, we got half the month to go. Yeah, but the average month only has 20 to 21 trading days, so there's only 10 left. I know. Wild. 3 left this week, 4 next week, 3 the week after that. Then we're on to the new year. Where does the time go? 2026 coming up hot. So this is my challenge right here to make. Everybody's like, oh, 50K challenge. You're almost there. It's like, no, not quite. The 50K challenge Everybody assumes it's just to make 50K, but no. The goal is to make this 1 month profit into a repeatable 50K. So 50K in a month, and do that over and over and over and over and over for at least 6 months in a row. Then the challenge is complete. So 7,000 is not 50,000. So I got a ways to go. With 7,000 a month, it's still pretty darn good. Still running pretty hot. You look down here. Only 67 traders on K-Info running better than me for a month. Think about that. Out of thousands of people. Thousands of people that are ranked on the leaderboards. Only 67 have made more than $7,000 in a month. That's pretty high up there. So my goal to get to 50,000. Kind of crazy, right? And look at it. There's some big traders on here, but very quickly, 50,000 puts me right around the top 20, if not, could be in the top 10 even. Depends. We'll see when I get there. It's pretty wild though. Not many traders make $50,000 a month. Not very many at all. Certainly not very many consistently. So there's not even that many profitable traders, period. Like very quickly. Yeah, I'm at 67. Very quickly though, you drop out of profitable traders. Right down in here, somewhere around 200, I think. It's usually where it goes negative. Getting close. Yeah. Top 200. $600. There we go. Doing a little better this month. More profitable traders, but not big money. It's just, I'm kind of continuing on the psychology thing this morning. Like, and my question today, like, are you green? But just booking little gains and keeping them is extremely hard. And we're halfway through the month right here. It's hard for a lot of people. Always want to go for the big gains. Everybody thinks it's a race of some sort. It's like, you know, I've got to catch up. You don't have to catch up anything. Like, this is the whole point, is to just consistently book profit. You consistently book profit and it starts stacking up. And it starts stacking up. It starts stacking up in a big way. This is going to be $41,000 just since April. It's kind of wild when you think about it. It's May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. As of today, 16th, I think that the 16th was the first day I booked profit. Yeah, April 16th was the first day I booked profit. So this is 8 months. 8 months I made $40,000. 41,000. 8 months. So on track. It is accelerating a little bit, so on track to hit 60,000 by the time I'm at the anniversary. Maybe a little richer. We'll see. So, yeah, top traders change all the time, but who could be consistent? And a lot of the top traders do stay up here, though. This guy stays up here. This guy stays up here. These guys stay up here pretty much. You can see all time. GG. This one, he disappears. Jump down to year to date. Jump down to the 1 year. Jump down to 3 months. Oh, changed it out. This one kind of stays up here. And then number 2, just on the month. So staying consistent and making repeatable gains you can count on is difficult for a lot of people. And I actually upload and share this publicly. Like, this is a public profile. I think you have to at least make an account. You don't necessarily have to pay to be able to see the trades in here, but all the trades are here. All the trades are here. You can see, there's my month. Where's the red days? Didn't have any. 3 months, got a few red days. So my drawdowns Had a few. Not very big ones compared to how much I'm up. This graph does count the drawdowns though. So I don't have any big drawdowns. Like I didn't make a big gain and then lose it all and make it back. Like I'm not playing that kind of game. I'm playing a small, consistent game over and over and over. Small losses, small gains. But the small gains way outweigh these little hiccups. Anyway, it's it is difficult, and a lot of people instead of just consistently booking a small gain, will be like, oh, you know, it's the comment I get. JT, why are you going after a $40 trade? Why are you going after making 40 bucks? Right? Look right here, this trade, 220 bucks, but I sold 3 contracts to go with it. Those are right down here. So I lost 115 to book 220. That's only 105 bucks. 3 contracts. That wasn't very much per contract. Right? 35 bucks. So I risked. You're like, holy mackerel. You risked 5,000 bucks on each contract. Times 3. So that's 15,000 bucks right there to make 105. Right? Would you do that? Would you do that? Did you do that? I did it. I've done it 42 days in a row, 43 days in a row now. Risk that kind of money. Consistently make money. It starts adding up a lot. Scale, repetition. I've actually, it wasn't just 3 contracts because I did 2 more and 2 more. So it was actually 5, 6, 7 contracts. They weren't all at the same strikes. That's why they're broken apart. Couldn't get the same fills. So I did 7 yesterday. Did 6 today. Plus 2 in another account. But this is how I plan on getting to my 50K challenge, doing these little trades on top of the wheel type trades I do. And it all adds up. Like there's the whole year right there. Little gains, little gains, little gains. Oh, caught a big one on Rocket Lab. Little gains, little gains, little gains, little gains, little gains. And I've gotten more consistent about book and profit every day right here. And that was that, you know, coming into September right here when I was underperforming. I was like, you know, I need to try to get more profit on the books every day. So I started trying to do that. Caught a loser. Messed up one day. Messed up another day. And trying to get just little gains on the books every day. It's starting to add up in a big way. Because that's what, when you come over here and you look at the 1 month, 7,000 bucks. It used to be 3,000 bucks just back in September. Maybe 2,000 bucks. So, growing pretty rapidly. I'm trying to push it up to 10,000 bucks. It's kind of my short-term intermediate goal here. Just try to get this up to 10,000 bucks by April. Right? Then it's just a matter of keeping on growing. Like, keep on growing. I think it's going to take me 5 years from the start to get to the goal. 50K. 5 years. 1 year will be coming up in April. So, 4 more years. So, it's difficult for a lot of people to share publicly what you've been doing. We've all been taught to hide our money, hide what we're doing. Don't share with anybody if you lose money. Don't share with anybody if you make a big win. So it's difficult for a lot of people. But this is all right here. You can dig through every trade I've done out in the public. Right there. Every trade. This is just one account. I don't share every account I have. Not every account is doing this, but I'm trying to... a lot of the accounts I have are retirement accounts. And I'm actually up much bigger in my group of retirement accounts for my wife and I. Actually got a lot more profit than this on about $100,000. It was about 100, I think 105 coming into the year, so it's like 160 something now. It's our big group of accounts. It's not all of the accounts, and it's doing pretty good. But I can't use that money. This is a taxable account right here. Trying to use it to live off of, but I have to build it into something that can consistently make money. So that's all my trading capital. Like when I made the $1 million back in COVID, 1.4 million, that was all retirement accounts. Haven't been able to use a dang bit of it to live off of. You know, some of it was my mom's retirement account, some of my dad's retirement account, some of my wife's retirement account. Mom, dad, wife, you know, all of it was kind of split in here. And, you know, the smaller portion was me and my wife, much smaller. So I made my parents quite a bit of money, but it was all retirement money for them, retirement money for me and my wife. And we still lived the same way, despite me making crap loads of money in the market. And it takes money to make money. And I didn't have a trading account that was of any size to be able to trade with. And, you know, Jack was kind of talking about this with me earlier. And I was like, you know, people are like, well, what starting stake did you take? There's not a starting stake in this. This is like my personal mission to fund an account. I work for some of this money. I've pumped in money. I've borrowed money and pumped it in. Quite honestly, everybody says don't borrow money and trade. Well, if you're consistent and you can have a chart like this that doesn't have these big swings, you can borrow money and trade and consistently pump it higher if you can count on it. I did for those that know, I did a trial in here for several months proving I could do this before I actually settled on 50K challenge. Like I was just gonna start doing it. I was like, you know, I'm just gonna start consistently getting some money. And then somebody else was like, why don't you do it instead of doing it in your retirement account? Why don't you do it in a taxable account so you can replace any reliance on working for the man that you have? Because I do this guru thing, and I do, like, I'm beholden to a publisher, and I have obligations. I do, you know, YouTube members, I thank you all. You're contributing to this. You know, me and my family, we gotta pay the bills somehow. Retirement accounts don't pay the house payment, don't keep the electric on, don't pay the heat bill. So, working on it. It's a mission. It's a goal. Tesla, helping me get there. In that account, I have 600 shares. Tomorrow I'm getting paid that. I have 600 shares of TSLL, not Tesla. TSLL, leveraged version of Tesla. It's actually more liquid. It's crazy. Look at the volume here, 105. TSLL, look at the volume, 108. Traded more shares of the leverage ticker. And this one was up 6%. Tesla up 3%. This up 6%. I actually have 23 calls sold for this week on those 600 shares in that account. Might get called out. Of course, we might just take a resty for a day or two and give it opportunity. Now, on this chart, 25, 26 probably might provide some resistance. But looking at the Tesla chart, the resistance is actually up here at 550. Oh, on up here. So that's what we're looking at. Nice little pop. Getting on out. Been looking for this breakout since we set it up back here in September. That candle closed above the 618. Actually, it first indicated we were going to do this back here in May. And we consolidated underneath it. And I was like, not so sure. Then we definitively closed up here. Came back, kind of retested this. Didn't actually hit the roadmap line. Now we're lifting off. Probably going to go hit that right there. 550. 550. We'll see. So that's what we're looking at. 550 is the target. Now, if things get extra sparky, extra crispy, 600, 800. Real targets, real possibility. Bigger picture. Yeah, we didn't hit the monthly, so that's gonna be a weekly bounce right here. Now this typically takes, you can see that the actual weekly close wasn't until right there on that one, and 45 candles on average. So that's 45 weeks. That's almost a year on average for this to go from there up to here. Then 35 is the standard deviation, and when you add that, 3 more standard deviations, it's 150 candles. Oh man, that starts to be close to 3 years that this could take to play out, but it looks like it's gonna go faster, quite honestly. And that's why TSLA is the biggest position I have right now across me, my wife, my mom, my dad, all the trading accounts. I got thousands of shares of this right now. I think just my exposure about 6,000. If we got a nice little pop up to that 800 zone, this could take this up to about 53. Be pretty spicy. I was gunning for that back here. I was looking for that pop to 53 based on this move back here. We came up shy, and I was kind of bummed out. We came all the way back down. I got really bummed out. So I bought back here on this dip in September. Rode it up here, rode it back down, selling calls and stuff along the way. Added more, added more, added more. Now this is the biggest position I got going. But I do have a lot of 23 calls sold, so I may have to rotate some inventory. I have 35 calls sold too on some chunk out to January, which would be back to that high up there, pretty close. I have this suspicion that we chill out. It's probably not just going to make one giant rip all the way up there. Probably not. It's just not likely. I mean, it could, but probably not. It's probably going to take a rest, at least for a couple weeks. We'll see what happens. So that's Tesla for you. Now the Santa Claus rally kind of went out this backwards here a little bit. All right, cool. Close the chart. Let me give me 1 second to locate El Charto. That is Nasdaq seasonality. Close enough. It has a box on it. I usually use the one that doesn't have any box on it. This was from earlier this year. It's the last 20 years. But here's what we're actually interested in over here. Zoom her up, Buttercup. Expand. Zoom in. Pan it over. Zoom it up some more. Pan it over. This little guy right here. There's the Santa rally. A lot of people think Santa rally starts here and just rips on through the end of the year. This kind of looks like what we're doing right now, right? A little bit of chop. Pulling back a little bit. This is percentage-wise on the Nasdaq. So we have this opportunity from about middle of the month. That's what we got right here. Maybe into just after Christmas. Then we may see a little fleece out into the new year. This is just the average move the last 20 years. That's pretty consistent, right? It kind of happens starting this week into the end of next week. Then probably quit for the last couple of days. So right there she is. So we might see a little bit of rally from, maybe today was the start of it. Could see that rally continuing on until next week, and then beginning of the year tends to be kind of choppy. Initial little pop and then kind of take it all back. So be careful. Last 20 years, January tends to be a little choppy. Running into February, usually get a nice big pop, and then yikes, pull back to March. Then you look at March, it's like, wow, that not much progress. But then kind of that after that first week of March, we typically will run right on up into sell in May and go away. That's kind of the roadmap, if you will. I mean, this is 20-year average. Like, it's not like no 1 year set the pace for this. It's just kind of the cycle the market usually runs in historically. When you zoom out and look at it, you know, Nasdaq averages like almost 17% a year for the last 20 years. It's kind of wild. So if your performance is under 17%, what you up to? What you doing? Now this 50K challenge thing I've got is almost up 50% for the money I've basically got in there, and maybe a little lighter than that, but basically 50% in 8 months. But I'm not letting up till I get to the 50K challenge. I mean, I did let up on that big pop, as I said, but quickly I realized like I'm not gonna get to my goal if I let up. I gotta keep the pedal to the metal. So keep it on. It's important. It's important. So there you go. That's kind of what I brought to start out with. We're gonna do at least 30 minutes of requests. I guess it'll be 35 minutes. So the rules of the game, all capital letters, 1 request per person per request. If you request a bunch of junk, I'm just gonna skip you. If you got questions, please use complete sentences. Avoid this, that, these, those, it in a comment. Please refer in full to the ticker or the chart that you are commenting about. So I know the chat's gonna go way faster than I am, so I'm gonna be behind somewhat. And I'll just give you a high-level analysis. That's kind of the way this goes. Like I said, channel members, you can stick around, ask me anything after 6 o'clock. And, ask me anything does have limitations. I'm not going to tell you what to do about any trade in particular. I don't give financial advice. So, Rocket Lab did kick off the pattern, 75% likely right there. That does leave 25% likely. It'll fail. Dollar below the low is the stop. Pretty simple at this point. And next up, Idiom. And top it out. Be careful. I liquidated back several months ago. This was probably the single biggest trade I did this year. Here. What did I do to make the most money this year? I bought 60 strike calls on Inium back here, right here. It wasn't even at the bottom. It was like right here in November, December. It was December last year. Bought those 60 strike calls for basically $1 and sold them when we pulled back here, right in here. They were like worth $23 or $25 a piece. Can't remember exactly, but basically made about $35,000 total. Single biggest trade. I mean, it wasn't all in one chunk either. It was spread across a couple different accounts. It's like 25 grand from my mom's account. So that was a single best trade. Now, looking at this whole big thing, be careful. Could we rally on up to 115? Maybe. We're kind of coming into this 1.1448 at 101.93. There is another resistance at 105. And because we haven't been back to the roadmap line since right here in April, I would kind of expect it to take a trip down there. It's in line with the gold expectation I have too. So STM. Now, that NEM trade could have been a lot bigger, but I spooked myself out and sold a lot of my position. Did hold on to a small bit in one of my retirement accounts, but I had a much bigger position riding. It would have been pretty profitable if I held on to it, but I got spooked out somewhere in April for a little bit better than a break even. So this is a downtrend. Continuation would be lower. How much lower? Roadmap bounce, upside down. If we break back below that 618, probably coming down here, maybe somewhere around 15 to 17. And LMS. Pharmaceutical. So pharmaceutical stuff, unreliable. Just throwing that out there. Anything I say doesn't really apply to biotech, pharma. So it doesn't really follow patterns. It follows whims. I mean, it follows patterns up until the point where the FDA announces something, and then they go off the rails. So right there, getting a little lofty though, and probably gonna find some resistance at the original highs. Right in there. So I'd watch out. Like, it may find a negative reaction. We see that often enough before it can go higher. And XOM. What a choppy chart. So the last roadmap bounce played out, retraced, retested, back to it, double topped, kind of. I'm talking about this retrace right here, this high, this low, that roadmap line right there. Probably coming back down to visit it now, right in here. Somewhere around that 112, 113. Then if we turn higher, get through the next 618, which would look like something around 117. Set up the next upside targets, 122, 123. Unless we do a bigger pullback, bigger pullback sets up the bigger targets, but there you go. It's XOM. Humana, I think I talked about that this morning. Look for this correction to be done. Finito, bendito. Trying to get through this 618 right here. Get continuation, 316. And if we can actually get above that, bigger targets, 411. Well, not 411. Hold on. Strike that for a second. I deleted the bigger target. That high, that low, 442. This 440 area is where I expect resistance. We have this bigger 618 and the bigger pullback that may provide a little bit of bounce, down before we push on up. But we may be able to push on up to 442 before we get that pullback. May bring us back to the roadmap line over here before we go higher again. It's just my complete guess. Now, if we break down here, though, if it doesn't hold this low that we've got with the higher lows, if we break through that, down here would be the downside. So I did all the way back over here. I thought we might bounce up, hit that 442 area, and get continuation lower. But I do like the way this is three-wave retraced right now. If we can get up there, hold the roadmap line, we can go on higher again. And 660 would be the bigger upside potential. If we can actually keep it going to the upside. Tyson Foods. It's got some choppy stuff going on here. So this is a downtrend right now. We made this move up, retrace 618. If we can actually break out through this is why this fib line was on there. There's a resistance from this high, this low, that 618, and that downtrend of highs. We'll get through that. Kind of opens the door for a bigger rally, potentially up here, even past other fibs to 83. It's because it has this bigger nested pattern back here. That'd be a pretty nice little pop from 58 to 83. And if we can get really bullish, somewhere up here in the 95 area, where that confluence of fibs is, right up there, 95, 96. Now, the bearish case would be we pop up here, hit 74, break back down below this, then we're going lower low. That's the bearish case. Either way, it looks like got some upside run on that one. SLV, I really prefer the Sprott funds over the iShares funds. iShares keeps failing. Both, SLV and the Spider for GLD. These guys fail their audits. Sprott. This one like PSLV. Better way to play silver. They don't fail their audit. But SLV. We're kind of topping out here. People don't like it when I say that, but we've topped out this pullback back here. And we've topped out this pullback back here. Grab that high, grab that low. Coming into the resistance at 59. Might need to retrace. And occasionally we can just pop it straight on up 71, but retrace, retest the breakouts, then going up. Now, if we're going to catch up to GLD, we'll be up here at 120. We catch up fib wise. And GLD right here, that same pullback. There's the high, there's the low. We'll be way on up here. Like, there's the 1618, there's the 272. So jump back to the SLV. 272 is where it gets ridiculous at 310. So if this just caught up, like people talk about it, oh, it's caught up to GLD. Not hardly. 310 would be a catch up. Now the historic rate ratio, gold is typically 15 times whatever silver is. And GLD, gold, we're just talking gold, is usually 15 times more silver. That's just the natural ratio it's found in the crust of Earth right there. So typically there's 15 times more silver, so 15 times more supply than there is gold, and that generally equates to a price difference 15 times. So you take gold's, what was gold today? 4,300, something like that, roughly 4,300. 4,300 divided by 15, that gives you 286. So not that crazy for 300. But lots of people tell you it won't do that, so just be careful. TER. Long consolidation. There's the high. There's the lowest low. Popping up. Watch for resistance at 215. And then 298. That's the resistance. Pièce de résistance. And BBIO. Another pharma. I don't really have much to say about pharma. Watch for 888, maybe. We are coming up to the all-time high here. Maybe poking above. Like, the problem here, for me, everything before the lowest low on the chart doesn't help project price. Like, all this doesn't matter. Like, as far as projecting where we're gonna run. So all we got is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that 5 is kind of playing out. And back to the bottom of the 4, which right around 20. So be careful. That can retrace pretty violently. Pretty violently from 75 back down to 20. And PG. So is this the bottom? Is the big question, right? That was the big low. That was the big. Come on now. Fib line. There we go. That was a big low. That was a big high. That's a 618 retrace. That high. That low. If we can get continuation off of this, big if, maybe a 618 right in here. And right there. That resistance. We get through it. Upside target. Now, I tend to be a little cautious on this. This could move up in there in a corrective type manner. We stop in this zone, create some ambiguity, and get a deep retrace. That's possible. But if we keep pushing on up, 258, we'll probably get continuation even higher. Look at the bigger picture here. This could be kind of this fair retrace. in line with other prior retraces, similar in size. Look at this. Similar in size, similar in size, similar in size, similar in size. That one's a little bit bigger. This one's in line, similar size. And we usually make a nice upside. So it could come up in this area, do another big pullback, set itself up for another run. It's PG for you. Just a matter how long can you stick with it? And PALU, 2x leverage, so PANW is what you're really looking for. PANW is just retraced. There was the high, there was the low, and we're just doing another retrace here. As long as we can hold on to this right here at 76, it's kind of the goal on a retrace. Hold on to it. Potential to get an explosive move up. 230. Core weave. Looks pretty ugly. That's what that looks like to me. Return to the beginning. Market chip. So we made this low back here. Pretty much the ultimate low. Made a move up. Made a attempt at a 618 retrace. Hit the 50%. So this is a measured bounce. Not a roadmap bounce, but a measured bounce. This is a pattern I look for because it's basically either a 1-2 or an AB. I don't care which one. But no matter which one it is, the C target is right here. The 3 target is up here. This might explain why I look at this pattern. Looking for that break above that consolidation right there. Probably sets up this right here. This is like the common target between 1-2 or ABC. So if it's 1-2 and we're going for the 3, then there's possibly we get a 4 and a 5, even higher. But if it's ABC, probably get continuation lower. So I usually target this move right here between. A lot of times when I'm chasing them, I grab it here aggressively and target this target right here and get the fudge out and just walk away. That's kind of what I did on NEM. It doesn't look like it, but that's actually why I grabbed it right here. Got this initial move up, got this retrace, and I got spooked out right in here because we came up shy of the breakout. And I was like, I don't want to eat it. So I closed it for a little better than break even. But I held some of it, held my mom's, because she told me she wanted to be invested in gold and silver. So I made that 25 grand for her when it popped up there. That's a similar thing we got going on microchip. But it's kind of a gamble, right? There's no guarantees that it continues on up there to those higher targets. So 82 would be where I would watch out for next resistance, right up in here, right in this zone. But ideally we get on up there to the bigger target. The bigger target's pretty lofty, 107 to 134. And yeah. Moving on. Meta. I cover Meta every morning. And should come to the morning show. I usually cover these more in depth in the morning. Of course, I say the same thing every day, so still looking for this support right here, 630 on Meta. And let's see. Oh, I rolled the chat down. Roll it back up. CVS, Charlie Victor Sierra. Said a lot of things, but basically looking for the retrace, like that 3-wave retrace into the roadmap line, expansion, that played out. It's funny how this plays out over and over. That's 1618, well past the 1448 or the 1.272. Probably played out. Like that was probably it. And we're going to retrace to the roadmap line and the breakout, both right there. Once we do that, if we can hold it, set it up for another run. New fib lines, new retrace. You go off the high, you go off whatever low we finally make down here. Resistance to 79, and then upside possibly 87, 88, 89, 90, 95, somewhere in there on CVS. So probably got to pull back. That's the Cal X. Well, did the roadmap retrace right there. There's the high, there's the low. If we can get back up to the 63 area, looking for 74 and 76 on the upside. Relatively easy. TMUS. Wow. That one turned kind of ugly. Here's the high, here's the low, there's the high, and we're looking for this to bottom right here. That's that ABC thing I was talking about just a minute ago. It's just A, B, C right there. Same proportions I was talking about between the 100 and the 1272. It's possible it pushes on down to 177. That would open the door to potentially a little bit further go. But as long as we hold right here, turn back, break through the roadmap line, break through the 618, which will probably be somewhere around 250. At 242. I got that. Got it with 242.60 or whatever. That was pretty darn close right there. So get back through that. Sets up these upside targets right here. But we got to get through the roadmap line, the downtrend highs, the 618 to get these upside targets. That's T-Mobile for you. AVGO, working on the retrace, roadmap line. Jack, very complimentary today. He's like, you know, when you said this was going to come back to that 340 area, I was like, bullshit. And lo and behold, back down to the 340 area. So roadmap line just below that, the gap up might come fill that gap. It could just hold these lows we've held for the last 3 or 4 months, but filling in that gap would make sense to me. Touching the roadmap line, and it may screw around right here until the roadmap line meets up, until all this stuff resets right here. Pushing into the new year, just hanging out right there. And BCO. In case anybody didn't know, 11:15 in the morning Eastern time every day, Jack and I go live. Jack Carter. We just talk about how to make income. I talk about that 50K challenge account quite a bit. He talks about his stuff. I talk about my stuff. Both love it on TSLA because it's one of the juiciest plays right now. And BCO pushing on out. And if we can manage to break on through 122, 128, possibly up to 145, but the higher we go on these, the more likely we are to get a violent retrace. So just retesting the back breakout right here would be normal. Before we come on up here, then we might retest another higher low before we can push on up here. That'd be the normal price action, but anything goes. You know, you can just rocket ship up here. Possible. Sometimes they do that. Not very often, but sometimes they do. CRM, still a downtrend. Still expecting lower prices. Let's see. CRM. Yeah, there's my target down here. I've had that on the chart for months and months. So we did this initial move down and a retrace right here. That's kind of the A, B, and the C puts us down here. It's very choppy though. I mean, there's the potential that the C did bottom right there. That's potential, but just looks better if we push on down a little bit more. So bummer if you're long Salesforce or trying to trade Salesforce. That one didn't quite hit the daily roadmap line. So watching out for the 618 resistance, which is right here. Watch out for that because it can turn down and make a lower low. That would be somewhere down here if we do that ABC style. And let's go ahead and put time on the clock here. 10 minutes. We're going to switch over to a Ask Me Anything stream. I'll finish up all the rest of the requests inside the Ask Me Anything AMA. Ask Me Anything. Yeah. So if you want to come get in on that, be a channel member, click the button underneath the video. Join the channel as a member, as a supporter. Akame. Wow, that got really close to hitting the target. Let's see. Zoom out just a little bit more. And dun 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 dun. So I guess the big question is this done? If we break through the 618 there at 101, maybe 144, 157, maybe. So despite this being a big cloud provider, they just don't seem to be able to perform. And I guess great cloud provider, horrible stock price manager. And that's what you got right there. Potential to go higher, but just doesn't look awesome. Zoom. Maybe able to pop. It's a bunch of nested up stuff. It made that initial move up, made that retrace. That gave the opportunity, if we can get the breakout through this prior high. Rejected pretty hard right there. If we can get through that, sets up this potential, and that's just a big A, B, C target. The trend was down coming into this. That may be a three-wave correction, and we get continuation down. You know, the days of Zoom may come and go. Something better may come along. Let's see. Do we need meetings, online meetings, when we have our AI overlords? I don't know. Here's the high, here's the low. 120, kind of played out. Watch for a retrace back to the roadmap line on ENR, NVS. Vartis, yeah, finally getting a little go. It broke out. Like, I really like this price action right here where we broke out, retested, potential to go on higher. But the problem is we've kind of already played out the big portion of the breakout. It's possible we get on up to that level right there. I expected us to fill it on out, but that's possibly the target right there. It's kind of sloppy on how it, you can see we just had that move up, that retrace, that move up, that retrace, and then we broke out. It's a little bit of watermelon seed squeezy, what I call watermelon seed squeeze. It's unreliable at price action, but if we get the continuation, that would be what we got. Tesla did that right here. This price action right there. We popped out, got up to the first target, then we consolidated for a good freaking long while. Now we're kind of working on the secondary run, which puts us right at the 550 area. Costco was a good long-term example of this. Costco. Back over here. 2022, did this watermelon seed squeeze thing, and we broke out. First target right there. consolidated, started the second target run, and pretty much stopped right there. And now we're consolidating, coming back down. Probably, we're getting darn close to the target here. I think that kicked off I think I had an alert on there that kicked off this morning at 8:45. As in 8:45 the price. Because my alert is now gone. And yeah. So NVS, possible to get that extension. Maybe. MU played out for now. Probably going to get a retrace. Yeah, be careful. That's a big ABC zone, and we're coming up right to that 1.0 extension. May require a retrace before we can pop on up through right there. Now, it's possible we just rip on up through like 358, but unlikely. IONQ. 5 more minutes, and we're going to switch over to a Ask Me Anything member only stream. Just reminding everybody, I guess 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Until we can get up through the 62 area, downtrend still intact. If we don't hold that right there, could go lower low pretty easy. Carts. Maple Bear. Been in kind of a long consolidation here. Volatile, but long. If we can get the, we're kind of working on this close above. Like if we can actually stick above here this time, right here, this looked like a fake out right there. And then we went down and stopped it out. See if we can hold on to it this time. Right here. Target 57, possibly 60. Not giant upside, but good enough. Good enough. They're not all going to go to the moon. QUBT. Dang, that chart looks almost the same. Scary. Not a fan of quantum, just because it's pretty much vaporware, vaporware all the way around. Vapor hardware, vapor software, vapor. Haven't really proved it's going to do anything for us. There's lots of researchers, lots of money, but this can easily break down. If we can bounce up through, potential to come up here, 30. RGTI. Yeah, this one can't seem to get off the mat here. Stuck on the... I actually traded this one down. I don't usually short stuff, but I traded this one down. Now we're looking for this to bounce, get up through there to go higher. But if it breaks down, probably going to come back to this area, back down around 10. And what's QBTS? No, that was QUBT. NBIS. Back to the roadmap line. Here's the high, here's the low. Looking for the break above the 110 area for 154. Sometimes they're easy. NVT. Look for that to hit the roadmap line. There. Lily tagged the upside target. Probably going to come back. And was, I guess the question is, was that a good enough retest of the breakout? I don't know. If it was, probably going on up here. Now they have a competitive advantage. That high 1260 would be the target. They have a competitive advantage. They have manufacturing capacity in the United States. Trump signed an executive order. I have a whole video about it. Go watch the 5 executive orders that matter for 2026. It kind of explains why Lilly is ripping higher while NVO is at lows we haven't seen for years. Has to do with manufacturing capacity in the United States. So go check that video out. If you want to know more about that, QBTS is more quantum bullshit and trying to get off the mat there. Royal Caribbean. Potential bounce. Here's the high, here's the low. Working on the bounce. If we get back above 314, 392 with the upside, SCNEX. There's the high. Here's the low. Back above the 618. Looking for 110 on the upside. CCL. Here's the high. Here's the low. Resistance right there. At that 30 area. 29.50. 34.35. Next upside. CCL. GE. Veranova was ripping hot, but GE Aerospace, or I guess this, yeah, Aerospace. That's what I thought. GE Aerospace, looking for this to come back in here. And TYRA. Yeah, watch out for that one. Like, this doesn't really have any pullbacks, so watch out for a pullback. It's a dangerous sign. I mean, you're getting into prior high with no pullback.